Hey, it's Lisa, and this is Pod Racing. Today is December 14th, 2020. Yes, I did just use my podcast intro. What about? Since today's topic isn't as heavy with possible triggers, I won't be rolling the trigger warning clip. My thesis is when a doctor prevents or pressures a woman into or away from having a sterilization procedure, it is an injustice because of discrimination and lack of human rights. First is the history. So, the history of sterilization in the United States. Since 1822, contraception, birth control to permanently prevent pregnancy, has been used, and sterilization is one of the most effective forms of contraception. However, sterilization was illegal and procedures were rare. Unless there was a medical reason, women were restricted. The most recent year of prohibiting laws being lifted was 1972. However, it only took a few years for the problems to see their way into the U.S. Department of Health's legislation. Even though many of these restricting laws had been lifted and lessened, a series of regulations additionally had to be passed in 1976 to prevent further coercive or non-consensual procedures. Now, why were these women restricted in the first place, and why are they still? As I said before, if you were a woman with a medical reason, you'd be given a procedure. Anything else? I'm sorry. It's your social location at odds with the doctor's biases. A social location is defined as the combination of age, gender, race, social class, ability, religion, sexual orientation, and geographic location. All of these making each social location unique to each individual. I would like to now draw your attention to this graph, which shows different demographics of women and how many of them reported using permanent contraceptive methods from 2013 to 2015. The light blue bars show the ages. The smaller one is 19%, and the ages are 25 to 34. The bigger bar is 39% with ages 35 to 44. The section right below, as I said, is race. The biggest bar is of Black women, 26%. Below it is Hispanic women, 25%, and below that is white women at 21%. Age and race are 2 out of the 4 most important social location factors that are looked at by the doctor's personal beliefs. This is what makes the right to sterilization so complex. Not only will the personal view of the doctor be examining whether you're married or single, whether you have 2 to 3 kids or not, none at all, whether you're 30 years old and over or under, but also if you are living in the free world or not. Between 2006 and 2010, more than 140 incarcerated women were sterilized because of pressure given by prison personnel.
Over 4 years, female inmates in California were illegally sterilized without the required approval from the state. The Center for Investigative Reporting says almost 150 women received tubal ligations between 2006 and 2010. And citing state documents, the center says there could be as many as 100 more, going back to the late 90s. Between 1997 and 2010, California paid doctors nearly $150,000 to perform the procedures. In California, it's all right to use state money to fund sterilizations in prison, so long as a medical review committee approves each procedure case by case. But records show that review process simply didn't happen in that 4-year gap between 2006 and 2010. The Atlantic Wire cites America's long and gruesome history of forced sterilizations in prisons. It's against the law to pressure a female inmate to have the procedure during labor or childbirth, and you can't use federal funding to pay for the procedure in a prison because of worries that the funding would make inmates feel like they had to do it. Former inmate Christina Cordero is quoted in this Salon article saying, "As soon as the doctor found out that I had 5 kids, he suggested that I look into getting it done. He made me feel like a bad mother if I didn't do it." That particular OBGYN, Dr. James Heinrich, told the Center for Investigative Reporting that California likely saved money by recommending the surgeries. He denies claims he coerced any of the inmates into sterilization. For Newsy, I'm Candace Avilés.
How does the social location of the doctor matter? Contrary to popular belief, the sex of the doctor does not have as heavy of an influence on their beliefs towards the procedure as their faith does. If the doctor attends a faith service at least twice a month, they are more likely to push one option over the other. Now we are going to look at a graph that shows all 50 states, and it shows the states with policies allowing providers to refuse sterilization services. Out of the 50, 11 states have individual providers and institutions. 4 states have individual providers and private institutions. 1 state has institutions only, and 1 state has individual providers only. To provide some context, here are some statistics. About 10.3 million women rely on sterilization for birth control, that's 27%, and about 13% of those women within the first 14 years express regret. And there are my sources. Thank you for listening.